game, and that quarterback and tailback are both special players. Disappointed with the result, but I think there's a lot of positives to build on. At the end there, we made some big plays on the perimeter. I think Donovan Green is showing that he can be an elite receiver in this league at some point. We had very few penalties. We didn't turn the ball over. On offense, we just had some missed opportunities. We got the ball in the red zone a few times, and, we missed some field goals. We missed a deep ball. I thought there was another one that, perhaps we should have had a PI that we didn't get, but, that's going to happen. And, we had a lot of good young players play a lot of football for the first time. We've replaced our entire starters at the offensive skill position. And then that's probably as much offense as we've had against Clemson in a number of years. So, again, not happy with the result, but I thought our players competed. I thought we played hard for 60 minutes. We came out of this healthy. We're going to get some guys back that we didn't have with injuries or COVID-related, that if our guys can continue to do the right things, hopefully we can be close to full strength next week as we try to start defending our Big Four championship on the road against NC State. I want to thank all the parents who came. We were allowed to get 50 of them in the stands, and I know a lot of them watched online, Zoom, TV, that, we really hope at some point we can get all the parents here. And we're moving forward and getting ready for NC State next week. So with that, I'll take questions.
Anybody jump in? Okay. Dave, it seemed like there were a couple times in the first half where it was 4th and 2 and you guys punted in 4th and 1, and was wondering what was going into decision-making processes there and whether you wanted to, in hindsight, force the issue a little more.
Well, I think most of those plays, Connor, were early and they were on our side of the 50. So if those had been on Clemson's side of the 50, I probably would have gone for it. But I think both of those ones you're talking about, were on our side of the 50. And then, we haven't scored a lot of points against Clemson lately. And the 4th and 1 that was down tight, I wanted to get points on the board. I didn't want to come out of that empty-handed. And when Nick missed 1 or 2, which has been very uncharacteristic for him, we have a new snapper. We have a new holder. I wanted those guys to get that operation and get some confidence before next week's game as well. So I wanted, Nick hit the one, then he missed one, and I wanted him to get another one. And then on that last drive, we were going to go for it the whole way. And, it was good to see Mitch Griffiths throw his first collegiate touchdown pass.
Hey, Dave, Josh Graham. Just give me a sense for how expectations met reality on what this day is without fans in the stands, game day obviously in town. What did you expect it would be like with the atmosphere or the lack thereof?
Josh, I told our players before kickoff and yesterday that when that ball got kicked off, that was our first victory. To do what we've done the last 2.5 months and make the sacrifices our players and our staff and everybody has made, the second that thing got kicked off, that was a win. We wish we had more fans in the stands, but we understand why we don't. And once the ball got kicked off, Josh, we're so locked into the game. We're just coaching and playing football. I feel bad for our players. I feel bad for the families of our players. We would love them to be there to watch their sons and support us and all of our fans and our season ticket holders and our students, all those people. We'd love to have them there with us. But, we're right now we're trying to play football in a pandemic. And once the game got kicked off in terms of the coaching, that didn't change.
Hey, this is Les. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it. Is it fair to say one of the bright spots of the night was the production out of the slot position? Oh, wow.
Last year, for whatever reason, I can barely hear you.
Is it fair to say that one of the bright spots tonight was the production out of the slot position?
Yeah, I mean, between Taylor and Ja'Cory, we had 13 catches for 185 yards. And so we've been very fortunate here to have good slots. Tabari Hines, Greg Dortch, Kendall Hinton, and to see, those two guys get off to a good start and be productive was very encouraging. Again, and Taylor Marin had 9 catches. Ja'Cory had 4 for 92 and had a 55-yard play. Donovan had 3 catches. It was good to see Torian Perry make a play or two. We need to run the ball better. But Clemson's a tough front, and what they do schematically makes it really hard to run.
Coach, how's Sam Hartman doing? Obviously, he was slow to get up there at the end.
He's fine. He was cleared to go back in. He did not suffer a concussion. But at that point in the game, he took that hit. And, I just think that this is a year that we've got to build depth. We have 3 very capable quarterbacks. And I wanted to get Michael Kern and Mitch Griffiths some playing time because we've had to go into the depth chart at quarterback here. So if we can give those guys reps and plays against the caliber opponent of Clemson, that's only going to help us down the line.
Coach, Dave, I know Trevor's going to make some plays and throws, and I know you probably need to look at the tape to know this for sure. Do you know anything about what kind of breakdowns were happening in the secondary?
I really need to watch the tape. I mean, you watch the game too, but we could say we gave up 37, but they dropped some easy touchdowns. They probably had 3 or 4 when they watched the film. They're going to say, and they should have had 60. And as a coach, they very easily could have had 60. So, again, if you look at these recent games, this game was certainly the final score was more competitive. But I think in some cases, Clemson beat themselves with drops and things like that. And they've got a new receiver core. I mean, they lost T. Higgins. Ross isn't playing. Those guys are high-level players. And so they've got some very talented receivers that are playing for the first time. And, it's game 1, without spring football and without a normal camp. I mean, I anticipated some ugly football. And we weren't as clean as we'd like to be. And I'm sure when Dabo and his staff watch the film, they'll feel the same way.
Coach, you had a
go ahead, Eddie.
Coach, rushing the ball was a little tough tonight.
Sorry, I can't hear you at all. Can you speak up?
Coach, running the ball tonight was a little tough. How would your assessment be on the O-line tonight and how they played?
I mean, we didn't run the ball very well, but Clemson has a good defensive front, and schematically they really pack it in there and blitz. And I mean, they dare you to throw it. So, I mean, there's not too many teams over the last few years that have ran the ball well on Clemson. And, so we had to throw it, and we had to make big plays in the perimeter. We made a few. We didn't make enough. But running the ball against them is always tough sledding.
Dave, I know you predicted some unclean football and that kind of thing. You also mentioned how concerned you were with conditioning in the last month or so. Did that play as much of a factor as you thought, or did that kind of get negated in the last week or two?
Sorry, what did you say I was concerned about?
Conditioning.
There were some players that I thought wore down. I think some of our guys really held up well. I thought our O-line held up well. We have some depth at linebacker and defensive line, but I thought we wore down in the secondary. I thought some of our receivers wore down. That's going to be a work in progress. All right. Well, thank you. Appreciate you covering us. And you guys have a great night, and we look forward to seeing you next week in Raleigh.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep. Thank you all. Appreciate it.
All right, guys, we got Donovan Green, and we'll open it up for questions. Connor, go ahead.
Hey, Donovan. I guess just what was it like out there compared to what you thought it was going to be like, and were you happy with your performance tonight?
So coming in the game, I thought, we just had to, work our releases, do what we were doing all week, start the run game, throw some balls deep. And I feel like we did that, but, we could have did it a step better. Our offense could have, overall did better. And I just felt like we played decent, but we can always get better. But it's the first game, and I feel like there's still some room to improve.
Coach Claussen mentioned earlier this week that he feels like the Clemson game is kind of a game that you guys have gone into in the past couple of years, and it's just gotten away from you so quickly, and then you guys have packed it in. Was it at least encouraging to see that the score didn't get completely away from you and into the territory that it did last couple of years?
Oh yeah, for sure. It was good to see that as a team we didn't step down at all. In the past, last year we let things get out of hand, and as Coach said, we wasn't really being ourselves. But this year, out there, we showed some grit and kept going through all 4 quarters.
Donovan obviously made a couple really nice grabs early in the game. What's it like to know you've got the confidence of your quarterback, Sam Hartman, to kind of throw those jump balls up there for you?
I couldn't really hear him. I couldn't hear you on that one.
Sorry, Donovan, can you hear me now?
Not really.
I said you made a couple of nice grabs early in the game. What does it feel to have the confidence of your quarterback to kind of throw those up there for you?
It feels good. It was certainly good to get, your quarterback on the same page and, throw a few deep ones early and build some confidence throughout the game.
Donovan, you made some nice catches, obviously, in the first half, but Taylor made some nice catches in the second half. What does it mean to see him come out and play the way he did in this opener?
It was definitely good because he's a young guy. It was his first game, and he did good, starting off with Clemson. And we're going to definitely need him from now and throughout the rest of the season. So it was good to see him, have a nice little debut today.
Donovan, what did you think of the atmosphere with nobody in the stands? How much or little did you notice it? How much different was it?
It was definitely different, coming off the sideline, looking up, it's just, a few people, just a few families and up there. And it was definitely different than that of last year, but, we got to adapt to the circumstances and keep moving forward.
Donovan, did you feel like the offense could have been a little more aggressive in the first half, especially after you guys were down a couple touchdowns?
I feel like we did what we needed to do. We just could have did it a step better. We made some throws, few early catches, and our run game, it could have been a step better. But it was the first game, and we'll certainly learn from this and be better next week.
All right, guys, that'll wrap up Donovan.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we got Luke Masters.
Hey, Luke, just right after the game, what is your initial reaction to the game, the way the defense played tonight?
It's tough, man. I mean, we definitely competed, but we left some points out there that was on us. But I'm proud of the way we competed, and we really fought to the finish, which was different from the past 2 years.
You think you guys really stayed in the game, at least mentally, into the game, and unlike the last few years where you just maybe folded a little bit?
Yes, sir. I think we had a good attitude throughout the whole, especially in the second half, and just kept fighting. You know, we gave up some plays that we'll get better at, but that's the most important thing. So we kept fighting.
Luke, I'm sure film will reveal this more, but what is your feeling now for what was going on in the secondary with some of the breakdowns?
I gotta watch it and stuff, but obviously some missed tackles, few plays we probably miscommunicated, but I gotta watch it. It's tough, coming right out of the game.
What's the main message to you guys in the locker room after this one? What was the main thing Coach Claussen conveyed?
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, Luke, what was the main thing Coach Claussen conveyed to you guys after the game tonight?
I still couldn't hear you. I'm sorry.
What was the message from Coach Claussen in the locker room after the game?
Kind of similar thing I just said. He's proud of us for competing. Obviously, we're never happy with the loss and never happy with how that game ended. But there are some positives that we competed, and we're going to get better and get better from week 1 to week 2.
Luke, what was it like to play at an empty stadium?
It was certainly different. The crowd noise helped a little bit, but it really, when you're playing, you don't really hear the crowd that much. So, in some aspects, it was the same. But certainly, every once in a while on the sideline, you'd look around and it'd be a little strange. But we approached it the same way.
Did the fake crowd noise help with the not feeling like it was any different?
Yeah. Like I said, when you're playing, you kind of tune that out anyway. But every once in a while you would hear that, and it would feel normal again. So it was nice.
Luke, do you feel like this was a adequate representation of Wake football? Because it's like last year you had the Utah State game that was down to the wire and close, and that revealed a lot of character. 2 years ago was the Tulane game that revealed a lot of character. This one, do you feel like it's the same kind of character revealing game?
In some aspects, yes. I think we showed some grit and we really fought to the end. But in other aspects, no. The misplays that we left out there, both on offense and defense. I mean, that's not Wake football, and we're going to get better at it.
You guys good? All right, Sam Hunt, I'll be out there. I'm gonna grab him up here.
Oh, wait, you already called it. You wrote it. Yeah.
What's going on?
Hey, Sam.
What's going on?
Hey, man, your initial thoughts on the game tonight?
Missed opportunities here and there, and I think we obviously had some bad plays, and I think it's just a good learning opportunity for us. Obviously, we're playing the number 1 team in the country, and they're going to make plays, and we had opportunities to make plays, and it starts with me, and I missed a lot of throws in the beginning, and Offensive line played great, and a young group of receivers had some ups and downs, but obviously they had some great plays, and we just got to learn from it, right? It's a COVID year of a lot of uncertainties, but one thing is the same as on a football field. You got to make plays, and we just didn't do that. So I'm excited for next week because it's another opportunity. It's another chance for us to fix some mistakes and grow and learn. But very optimistic is probably the biggest thing. I think we showed what we can do on the field, and obviously you look at the score and people are going to say, oh, Wake is this, Wake is that, but there's a lot of room for growth, and that's important for us to realize. And we're going to hopefully make it for what it's worth and go out next week and play football.
Donovan had some big grabs in the first half. What was that like with working with him in the first half there?
It was good. It was back to routine like last year and those last 4 games. But I think overall I missed him a couple of times. He had that one drop, and there's going to be definitely next week's going to be a big week for us to kind of groove back in and work on the things we messed up. But all across the board, guys made plays, and I think it's just going to be it's a big week for us just to learn and watch tape and grow from it.
Sam, I'm sure you guys put in plenty of preparation in the last couple of weeks, but then how different is it to actually be out there against Clemson and against what their defense is doing and how quickly they're moving?
Hats off to Coach Venables and their players. They're physical. They don't make a lot of mistakes, but we had opportunities all night, and we just didn't capitalize on them. And I think the tape shows that, and I think we're gonna watch that and stay off shoot. But at the end of the day, we just got to make plays, and that's that.
Last couple of years, the season openers have been down to the wire against Utah State last year, and then down to the wire in the Tulane game down in New Orleans. Those are really character-revealing games that kind of set the tone. Do you feel like there was character revealed tonight in those same ways? Obviously, the result's different, but do you feel like you guys showed who you are tonight, or is that to come later?
Yeah, I think our young guys played really well at the end, and we didn't give up. And I think we made some big stops. So you look at the past 2 years, they're driving down the field, and we're not getting an opportunity for Mitch to throw a touchdown, and which is awesome for him. And he's put in a lot of work to get to that point. You look, Taylor Marin had a great game, right? And those guys played their asses off. And the second O-line came in and did a great job. So I think it is definitely shows our team's grit. And I think the locker room after it's hanging heads because we lost, but it's not because it's over. It's because we got another week, and we're disappointed because we didn't make plays, but obviously it's another week, and every week's going to be a challenge. And we're playing ACC all throughout other than Campbell, but we got to get ready to go. It's a quick turnaround, but I'm excited because there's a lot of stuff we left on the field that would make this a different press conference.
Sam, how are you feeling? Coach Claussen told us you don't have a concussion, but are you all right after that hit play?
Yeah, I'm all good. I wanted to play back. I wanted to go back in, but they were advising against just because of the situation, and just because next week we got to suit back up and play another stout ACC program. And but I respect the decision, and we're just gonna move forward with it. I feel totally fine.
Sam, you mentioned Taylor. Just what about his game tonight? He got into the end zone for you guys. Just to see him put up some numbers, what does that do for you guys, especially the receiving core?
Of course it builds depth. Q had a great game, and Taylor also played well. And I think it's confidence for me that I know he can play because he hadn't played a snap of football yet. And come out in this situation and make plays, make catches, contested catches, and run the ball. It's a confidence booster for the next couple of weeks. And I'm excited for him because he's put in a lot of work, and really was one of those guys that came back over quarantine, was, electric. Just really put it. You knew that he took quarantine workouts seriously, and so I'm happy for him. He deserved all that attention and yards he got. All good. Right on. All right. Appreciate it. All right, guys, that'll wrap us up for tonight. I would appreciate if everybody on this call, whether you're in the press box or not in the press box,
if you could send me feedback on your experience with whether it's the Zoom or anything that you may have experienced in the last 6 days with Wake Forest football. We're trying to get better ourselves as a media relations department, and so I would appreciate the feedback. So good, bad, or indifferent, I would appreciate that, and I hope everybody's doing well and stay safe, and we'll talk soon. Thanks.